Mob debt, dirty cops, and two men fighting for her heart? A mother's desperate race to save her child. The stranger in her kitchen. Welcome to Heartbound Ashes. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more emotional stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. She heard the floorboard creak before she saw him. A shadow moving through her darkened kitchen at 2 a.m. Rebecca Morgan's breath caught in her throat as she gripped the baseball bat hidden beside her bedroom door. Her 9-year-old daughter Lily slept peacefully down the hall, completely unaware that a stranger had broken into their small farmhouse outside Redemption Springs, Wyoming. Rebecca's ex-husband had warned her this might happen. "They'll come for you," Derek had said 6 months ago, his face bruised and swollen from whatever mess he'd gotten himself into. "If I don't pay them back, they'll take it out on you and Lily." Then he'd disappeared, leaving her with nothing but unpaid bills and bone-deep fear. Now, standing in her nightgown with trembling hands, Rebecca knew that moment had arrived. She crept down the hallway, her heart hammering so hard she thought it might burst. The intruder was rummaging through her kitchen drawers, his back to her. Big mistake. She raised the bat, preparing to swing with everything she had, when suddenly strong hands caught her wrists from behind. "Don't scream," a deep voice whispered against her ear. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to protect you." The marshal's confession. Rebecca twisted violently, breaking free and spinning around to face her second intruder. The man standing before her was tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair that fell across intense gray eyes. He wore a U.S. Marshal's badge clipped to his belt, and his hands were raised in surrender. "My name is Cole Thornton," he said quietly, his gaze never leaving hers. "I've been tracking your husband for 3 months. He stole $2 million from the Moretti crime family, and now they've sent someone to collect." The man in the kitchen, the first intruder, turned around slowly. Rebecca's blood ran cold when she saw the gun in his hand. "Well, well," the stranger said with a cruel smile. "Looks like the marshal beat me here. How romantic." Cole moved faster than Rebecca thought possible, putting himself between her and the gunman. "You're not touching her, Vince. This ends now." Vince laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "The lady's husband owes my boss money. Since Derek's disappeared, that debt falls to his pretty little wife. Unless—" His eyes traveled up and down Rebecca's body in a way that made her skin crawl. "Unless you've got $2 million lying around, sweetheart. No? Then you're coming with me." A deadly proposition. "Over my dead body," Cole said, his voice lethal and calm. Rebecca's mind raced. She had no money, no way to pay off Derek's debt, and now her daughter's life hung in the balance. Vince's finger tightened on the trigger. "That can be arranged, Marshal. You're outnumbered anyway. My partners are already upstairs with the kid." Rebecca's world stopped. "Lily," she breathed, terror flooding every cell in her body. She bolted toward the stairs, but Cole caught her arm. "Wait," he commanded. His eyes locked on Vince. "There's no one upstairs. I've had this house under surveillance for 2 weeks. You came alone because the Morettis don't know I'm here yet. You wanted to grab Rebecca quietly and use her as leverage to draw Derek out." Vince's smile faltered for just a second, long enough for Cole to draw his weapon. "Drop it, Vince. Last warning." The standoff lasted 3 seconds that felt like 3 hours. Then Vince lowered his gun slowly, his eyes filled with poisonous hatred. "This isn't over, Marshal. The Morettis have long memories. Very long." "So do I," Cole replied. He handcuffed Vince to the radiator and called for backup. Within 20 minutes, 2 more marshals arrived and hauled Vince away. Rebecca stood in her kitchen, still clutching the baseball bat, her entire body shaking. Cole approached her carefully, like she was a wounded animal. "Mrs. Morgan, you're safe now. But we need to talk about your situation." The offer she couldn't refuse. Rebecca sank into a kitchen chair, suddenly exhausted. "I don't know where Derek is. I haven't seen him in 6 months. He destroyed our marriage, gambled away our savings, and apparently stole from mobsters. I got divorce papers served 2 weeks ago. I don't owe him anything." "Legally, you're right," Cole said, sitting across from her. "But the Morettis don't care about legalities. They care about sending a message. If they can't find Derek, they'll settle for hurting you to draw him out." He paused, his expression softening. I can't let that happen. Rebecca looked up at him, confused. Why do you care? You're a marshal. You're hunting Derek, not protecting his ex-wife. Cole's jaw tightened. Because 3 years ago, I lost someone in a situation just like this. A woman named Sarah. Her husband owed money to the wrong people, and I didn't move fast enough to protect her. By the time I got there, he didn't finish the sentence. He didn't have to. Rebecca's throat tightened. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, Cole said firmly. Just let me help you. I'm proposing witness protection for you and Lily until we locate Derek and take down the Morettas. You'll be relocated, given new identities, and I'll personally ensure your safety. For how long? Rebecca asked, her voice barely a whisper. However long it takes, Cole replied. His gray eyes held hers with an intensity that made her heart skip. I give you my word, Rebecca. No one will hurt you or your daughter while I'm breathing. The choice that changed everything. Rebecca thought of Lily sleeping upstairs, innocent and unaware of the danger circling their lives. She thought of Derek's selfishness, his betrayal, his cowardice. She thought of this stranger. This marshal with haunted eyes and a protective instinct that burned like fire, offering her a lifeline. Okay, she said finally. We'll go into witness protection. But I have one condition. Cole raised an eyebrow. Name it. I want to learn how to protect myself and Lily. I won't be helpless ever again. Teach me to shoot, to fight, to see danger coming. If you're going to protect us, then make me strong enough to protect myself. A slow smile spread across Cole's face, the first real smile she'd seen from him. Deal, he said, extending his hand. Rebecca shook it, feeling the strength and warmth of his grip. Something passed between them in that moment. Something neither of them could name but both of them felt. The shadow returns. Cole stood to leave, promising to return at dawn with arrangements for their relocation. Rebecca walked him to the door, her mind spinning with everything that had happened. As Cole stepped onto the porch, he paused and turned back. Rebecca, there's something else you should know. Your husband didn't just steal money from the Morettas. He stole something far more valuable, information that could destroy their entire operation. If we can find Derek before they do, we can end this. But that means... He hesitated. That means Derek is either already dead, or he's about to do something desperate. Rebecca's blood turned to ice. What do you mean desperate? Before Cole could answer, his phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen and his expression went dark. What is it? Rebecca asked, fear creeping back into her voice. Cole looked at her. His gray eyes filled with something that looked like dread. Your ex-husband just turned himself into the FBI in Seattle. He's offering to testify against the Morettas in exchange for immunity. He paused, and the next words hit Rebecca like a physical blow. And he's demanding that you and Lily be brought into protective custody with him. He says he won't testify unless his family is protected. Rebecca staggered backward. No, absolutely not. He doesn't get to. I know, Cole said, his voice gentle but firm. But the FBI doesn't care what he deserves. They care about taking down the Morettas. Which means... His jaw clenched. Which means I have less than 24 hours to figure out how to protect you from both the mob and the federal government. The door suddenly slammed shut behind Cole, though neither of them had touched it. They both spun around to see a figure standing in the shadows of Rebecca's living room. A figure that definitely hadn't been there moments before. Hello, Rebecca, the figure said in a voice that made her blood freeze. It's been a long time. Rebecca's knees nearly buckled as the figure stepped into the light. It was someone she'd never expected to see again. Someone she'd thought was dead. And their presence changed absolutely everything. Romance, emotional conflict, and secrets. The ghost from her past. Marcus Kane stood in Rebecca's living room like a ghost materialized from her darkest memories. He looked older than she remembered, lines etched around his mouth, gray threading through his dark hair. But those green eyes were unmistakable. The same eyes that had watched her walk down the aisle to marry his brother 7 years ago. Derek's twin brother. The one who'd supposedly died in a car accident 3 years ago. You're dead, Rebecca whispered, her voice breaking. We buried you. Marcus's smile was sad and bitter. You buried an empty casket, Rebecca. I've been in witness protection for 3 years, testifying against the same people my idiot brother decided to steal from. He glanced at Cole, who had his hand on his weapon. Relax, Marshall. I'm one of the good guys. Well, mostly. Cole didn't lower his gun. Marcus Kane. I've read your file. You were supposed to stay buried until the trial. Plans changed, Marcus said, his eyes drifting back to Rebecca. When I heard Derek had dragged Rebecca and Lily into this mess, I couldn't stay hidden. Not when they're in danger because of my family's mistakes. A dangerous attraction. Rebecca felt the room spinning. She gripped the back of a chair for support. Why didn't you tell me you were alive? Do you have any idea what I went through? What your mother went through? Marcus flinched. I know. And I'm sorry. But the Morettas had already killed 2 witnesses. If they'd known I was alive, they would have used everyone I loved as leverage. Including you. I wasn't yours to protect, Rebecca said, anger flooding through her shock. I was your brother's wife. Were you, though? Marcus asked quietly. The question hung in the air like smoke. Cole looked between them, tension radiating from every muscle. Someone want to explain what's happening here? Rebecca closed her eyes, memories washing over her. The wedding day when she'd caught Marcus watching her with heartbreak in his eyes. The night before the wedding when he'd tried to tell her something but stopped himself. The way Derek had always seemed jealous of his own brother. Always competing, always resentful. Marcus was supposed to be the best man at our wedding, Rebecca said softly. But he didn't show up. Derek said Marcus was jealous, that he'd always wanted what Derek had. I thought it was just sibling rivalry. But then 6 months after the wedding, Marcus asked me to coffee. He said he needed to tell me something important about Derek. The truth he kept hidden. Marcus picked up the story, his voice rough with emotion. I was going to tell you that Derek had been involved with the Morettas for years. That he'd started laundering money for them before you even met. I wanted to warn you, to give you a chance to get out before you got hurt. He paused. But then Derek found out I was meeting you. He told the Morettas that I was planning to go to the police. That's when they came after me. That's when you died, Cole said, finally lowering his weapon slightly. The marshals faked your death to save your life and secure your testimony. But you broke protocol by coming here. Marcus's eyes blazed with fierce protectiveness. I don't care about protocol. Rebecca and Lily are in danger because of my brother, because I didn't stop him years ago when I should have. I'm not hiding while they get hurt. Rebecca looked at Marcus, really looked at him for the first time since he'd appeared. He'd always been the responsible twin, the one who'd gone to law school while Derek chased get-rich-quick schemes, the one who'd quietly loved her from a distance, never crossing lines that shouldn't be crossed. Until now. Why are you really here, Marcus? She asked. What aren't you telling me? The secret that changes everything. Marcus moved closer, close enough that Rebecca could see the desperation in his eyes. Because Derek didn't steal money on his own. He had help. Inside help. Cole went rigid. What kind of inside help? The kind that wears a badge, Marcus said, looking directly at Cole. There's a dirty marshal on your task force. Someone who's been feeding the Morettas information about witness locations, testimony schedules, safe house addresses. 3 witnesses have died in the past year. That wasn't bad luck. The color drained from Cole's face. That's impossible. My team is vetted. Your team includes Deputy Marshal Thomas Reeves, Marcus interrupted. Check his financials. He's been depositing $10,000 a month for the past 18 months. The Morettas own him. Cole pulled out his phone, fingers flying across the screen. As he waited for a response, Rebecca watched the muscle in his jaw tick with barely contained fury. An impossible choice. If there's a leak in the marshal's service, Rebecca said slowly, then witness protection isn't safe. Which means Lily and I. You need to disappear off the books, Marcus finished. No official safe houses, no paper trail. No one knowing where you are except the 3 of us. Cole looked up from his phone, his face grim. Reeves didn't show up for his shift this morning. He's in the wind. The 3 of them stood in silence, the weight of the situation crushing down on them. Rebecca thought of Lily sleeping upstairs, dreaming innocent dreams while her world crumbled. She thought of Derek, the man she'd once loved, who'd destroyed everything he touched. She thought of Cole, the marshal with haunted eyes who'd promised to protect her. And she thought of Marcus, the ghost who'd loved her in silence for years, now returned to save her from his brother's sins. "I know a place," Marcus said finally. "A cabin in the Montana wilderness. It's owned by a friend who owes me his life. No one knows about it, not even the marshals. We can take Rebecca and Lily there while we figure out our next move." Cole shook his head. "I can't authorize that. Going off-grid with a witness is career suicide. And possibly actual suicide if the Morettas find out." "Then I'll take her myself," Marcus said, stepping closer to Rebecca. "You can officially have no idea where we went." "Plausible deniability." "Over my dead body," Cole growled, moving between them. "I promise to protect her, and I don't break my promises. If we're doing this, I'm coming with you. The moment everything changes." Rebecca looked at both men, Marcus, whose love for her had been unspoken for 7 years, and Cole, whose protective instinct burned hotter than any she'd ever known. Two men willing to risk everything for her and Lily. Two men whose presence made her feel things she had no right to feel while her life was falling apart. "We leave in 2 hours," she said, her voice stronger than she felt. "I'll pack what we need. Cole, you coordinate with your team, give them a false trail so the dirty marshal thinks we're going somewhere else. Marcus, you secure transportation that can't be traced." Both men started to protest, to argue, to take control. Rebecca held up her hand. "Stop. Both of you. I'm not a damsel who needs saving. I'm a mother who needs to protect her daughter. We'll work together, or I'll take Lily and disappear on my own. Your choice." Cole looked at her with something that might have been respect, or might have been something more. "You're tougher than you look, Rebecca Morgan." "I've had to be," she said quietly. As Marcus and Cole began making plans, Rebecca slipped upstairs to Lily's room. Her daughter slept peacefully, her blonde hair spread across the pillow, her little hand clutching her favorite stuffed rabbit. Rebecca knelt beside the bed, tears finally spilling down her cheeks. "I'm going to keep you safe, baby girl," she whispered. "No matter what it costs me." The secret watcher. What Rebecca didn't know, what none of them knew, was that someone else was watching the house. Through high-powered binoculars from the tree line half a mile away, a figure observed their every move. The figure watched Marcus arrive, watched the confrontation, watched the three of them make their plans. The figure made a phone call. "It's me," they said quietly. "You were right. Marcus Kane is alive, and he's making contact with the target. They're planning to run." A pause. "Yes, I'll follow them. No, I won't lose them this time." The figure lowered the binoculars, a cold smile playing at their lips. "The marshal thinks he's protecting her. The brother thinks he's saving her. Neither of them realizes she's exactly where we want her." Another pause, listening to instructions. "Understood. Let them run to Montana. Let them think they're safe. Then we'll take everything, the woman, the kid, the information, and both men who think they can play hero." The figure ended the call and settled in to wait, patient as death itself. The declaration. Back in the house, as dawn began to break, Cole pulled Rebecca aside while Marcus was outside securing a vehicle. "Before we do this," Cole said, his voice low and intense, "I need you to know something." "What?" Rebecca asked, her heart racing at his proximity. "I don't make promises lightly," Cole said, his gray eyes burning into hers. "When I told you I'd protect you and Lily, I meant it. But somewhere between that promise and now—" He paused, seeming to struggle with the words. "Somewhere in there it stopped being just a job." Rebecca's breath caught. "Cole, I know the timing is terrible," he continued. "I know your life is complicated, that you're vulnerable, that this is probably the last thing you need. But I need you to know that when I protect you, it's not just duty anymore. It's because The front door burst open. Marcus stood there, his face pale. "We have a problem," he said, holding up his phone. On the screen was a photo of Lily's empty bed. Beneath it, a text message. "If you want the girl back alive, Derek brings the information to the old warehouse on 5th Street. Alone. You have 3 hours." The phone slipped from Marcus's hand and clattered to the floor. Resolution, ultimate protection, and suspenseful twist. The race against time. Rebecca's scream shattered the morning silence. She bolted up the stairs, taking them 3 at a time, praying this was a mistake, that Lily was just hiding, that the message was a cruel joke. But when she burst into her daughter's room, the bed was empty, the window was open, and Lily's stuffed rabbit lay abandoned on the floor. "No, no, no," Rebecca sobbed, falling to her knees. "Not my baby. Please, not my baby." Cole was beside her instantly, his arms strong around her shaking shoulders. "We'll get her back," he said fiercely. "I swear to you, Rebecca, we'll bring her home." Marcus was already on his phone, his voice cold and controlled. "This is Marcus Kane. I need every available resource tracking a kidnapping in Redemption Springs, Wyoming. The victim is a 9-year-old girl named Lily Morgan. Time is critical." But Cole grabbed the phone from Marcus's hand and ended the call. "What are you doing?" Marcus shouted. "We need backup. We need to think," Cole interrupted, his eyes sharp. "That text was sent 20 minutes ago. How did they get past surveillance? How did they know exactly which window was Lily's? How did they disable the motion sensors I installed yesterday?" The two men stared at each other as the terrible truth sank in. "Someone told them," Marcus said slowly. "Someone who knew the house layout, the security setup, everything." The betrayal revealed. Rebecca's mind raced through the possibilities. The marshals who'd arrived last night to take Vince away. The FBI agents Marcus must have contacted. Her blood froze. "Marcus," she said, her voice deadly quiet. "When you called to arrange transportation, who did you contact?" Marcus went pale. "My handler. Deputy Marshal Sarah Chun. She's been my contact for 3 years. She's the one who—" "She's the leak," Cole said, pieces clicking into place. "Not Reeves. Chin. She used Reeves as a decoy, knowing we'd focus on him while she stayed invisible." Cole's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and his face went hard. Chun just sent out an all-points bulletin claiming Marcus Kane violated witness protection and kidnapped Lily Morgan. "She's painting us as the criminals." "Then we're on our own," Marcus said. "No backup, no support. No way to prove our innocence while Lily's life is on the line." Rebecca stood up, wiping her tears, her grief transforming into something harder, something dangerous. "Then we give them what they want. We trade Derek's information for Lily." "We don't have Derek's information," Cole reminded her gently. "Derek does. And he's in FBI custody in Seattle." Rebecca's eyes blazed. "Then we break him out." Both men stared at her like she'd lost her mind. "Rebecca," Marcus began carefully, "breaking a federal witness out of custody is—" "I don't care what it is," Rebecca cut him off. "That's my daughter. Derek got her into this mess, and he's going to get her out. Even if I have to drag him there myself." The impossible heist. 3 hours later, they stood outside the FBI field office in Seattle. They'd driven through the night, running on adrenaline and desperation. Cole had called in every favor. He had to get blueprints of the building and Derek's exact location. Marcus had used his legal knowledge to identify weaknesses in the custody protocol. And Rebecca had transformed from a frightened woman into someone neither man fully recognized. Hard, focused, fearless. "Last chance to back out," Cole said quietly. "Once we cross this line, there's no going back." "My daughter is counting on me," Rebecca said. "I crossed every line the moment they took her." They moved like shadows through the building. Cole's badge got them past the first checkpoint. Marcus's forged credentials handled the second. But when they reached the holding cells, they found something unexpected. Derek wasn't alone in his cell. Sitting across from him, smiling pleasantly, was Deputy Marshal Sarah Chun. "Hello, Marcus," Chun said through the reinforced glass. "I've been expecting you. And you brought the very people I needed. How convenient." Derek looked up, his face bruised and terrified. When he saw Rebecca, he started crying. "I'm sorry," he sobbed. "I'm so sorry. They said they'd kill Lily if I didn't cooperate. They made me set you up." The truth comes out. Rebecca's world tilted. "What do you mean, set me up?" Chun stood, straightening her suit jacket. "Derek's been working with us the whole time, Mrs. Morgan. Well, working for the Morettis but feeding us just enough information to stay valuable. The money he stole? That was the Morettis idea. They wanted to see who among their organization was trustworthy. Derek helped them identify the rats. And the information he supposedly has? Cole asked, his voice dangerous. Fiction, Chin said with a smile. There is no evidence that can destroy the Morettis. But there is a very valuable woman whose ex-husband owes them money, whose brother-in-law betrayed them, and who 2 heroic men would do anything to protect. A woman who makes excellent leverage. Marcus lunged at the glass, his face twisted with rage. Where's Lily? If you've hurt her. Lily is fine, Chin said. For now. She's with my associates at the warehouse, exactly where we told you she'd be. And in 30 minutes you'll all join her. The Morettis are willing to forgive Derek's debts in exchange for 3 things. Rebecca as collateral, Marcus for testimony he already gave, and you, Marshall Thornton, for being stupid enough to fall for a woman you barely know. The impossible gamble. Cole's mind raced, calculating odds, analyzing options. They were outmaneuvered, outgunned, and out of time. But then he noticed something. Derek was staring at him with an intensity that didn't match his crying performance. And his hands, hidden under the table, were moving in deliberate patterns. Sign language. Cole had learned ASL to communicate with deaf witnesses. Derek was signing. Trust me. Lily's safe. Chun lying. Recording everything. Cole's expression didn't change, but his posture relaxed microscopically. You win, Chun, he said, raising his hands. We'll cooperate. Just don't hurt the little girl. Chen's smile widened. I knew you'd see reason. Guards, escort these 3 to processing. Make sure they're thoroughly secured before transport. As guards moved to handcuff them, Derek suddenly lunged across the table, grabbing Chen's wrist. A small device fell from her sleeve. A panic button that would have signaled her associates. At the same moment the lights went out. Emergency lighting kicked in, bathing everything in red. Now! Derek shouted. Marcus and Cole moved in perfect sync, disarming the guards with practiced efficiency. Rebecca grabbed Chen's fallen weapon, pointing it with shaking hands at the deputy marshal. Where's my daughter? Rebecca demanded. Tell me or I swear. The mother's fury. You won't shoot me, Chen said confidently. You're not a killer. Rebecca stepped closer, her eyes burning with protective fury that made even Cole take a step back. You're right. I'm not a killer. I'm a mother. And there's nothing more dangerous in this world than a mother protecting her child. She pulled the trigger. The bullet struck the wall beside Chen's head, deliberately missing but close enough that the deputy marshal's confidence shattered. Next one goes through your knee, Rebecca said, her voice ice. Then your other knee. Then we'll see how tough you are. Now tell me where Lily is, or I start counting down from 3. Okay. Chun screamed. She's not at the warehouse. She's in the basement storage facility 2 floors down. Room B7. But you'll never get past. Cole was already moving. He grabbed the access card from Chen's pocket and sprinted for the stairs. Marcus zip-tied Chun to the table and followed. Rebecca hesitated for just a moment, looking at Derek, the man she'd once loved, who destroyed everything, who just saved them all. Why? She asked. Why help us now? Derek met her eyes, and for the first time in years, she saw genuine remorse. Because I finally figured out that being Derek's brother means something. Being Lily's father should mean everything. I failed you as a husband. Let me not fail completely as a father. The rescue. They found Lily in room B7, guarded by 2 of Chen's associates. The gunfight lasted 45 seconds. When the smoke cleared, both guards were unconscious, and Cole was kicking down the door to the storage room. Lily sat inside, scared but unharmed, clutching her stuffed rabbit. When she saw Rebecca, she burst into tears. Mommy! Rebecca fell to her knees, pulling her daughter into her arms, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. I've got you, baby. I've got you. You're safe now. Cole and Marcus stood guard, giving them their moment. Then Cole's radio crackled. This is FBI Special Agent Rodriguez. We've secured the building. Deputy Marshal Chun and her associates are in custody. We've been investigating Chun for months. Thank you for leading us right to her. Marcus looked at Cole. You knew. I suspected, Cole admitted. I've been feeding my own internal investigation information. I just didn't know Chun would move this fast. The aftermath. 2 weeks later, Rebecca stood on the porch of a small house in Montana. Not the cabin they'd originally planned, but a real home with a white picket fence and a tire swing in the yard. The Moretus organization had collapsed with Chen's arrest and Derek's full cooperation. Marcus was officially resurrected and given a new identity. Derek was serving reduced time in exchange for testimony. And Cole pulled up in his truck, parking beside Rebecca's car. He'd been coming around every day, officially to check on their security, unofficially because neither of them could seem to stay away. Hey, he said, climbing out. Hey yourself, Rebecca replied, trying not to smile and failing. Lily asked if you're staying for dinner again. If the invitation's open. It's always open, Rebecca said softly. Cole moved closer, close enough that she could see the warmth in his gray eyes. I've been thinking about what you said that night. About learning to protect yourself. I've been taking shooting lessons, Rebecca said. And self-defense classes. I'm not the same woman you met that night. I know, Cole said, his voice low and intense. You're stronger, braver, more beautiful than you were before. And you were already the most beautiful woman I'd ever seen. The new beginning. Rebecca's breath caught. Cole, I know it's complicated, he interrupted. I know you're still healing from Derek, still recovering from everything. But I need you to know that I'm not going anywhere. I'll wait as long as you need. A month, a year, forever. Because you and Lily? You're worth waiting for. Tears filled Rebecca's eyes, but this time they were good tears. What if I told you I don't want you to wait? Cole's eyes darkened with emotion. Then I'd ask if I could kiss you. Yes, Rebecca whispered. When his lips met hers, it felt like coming home. Like safety and passion and promise all wrapped into one perfect moment. When they finally pulled apart, Lily's voice called from inside. Mom, Uncle Marcus is here, and he brought ice cream. Rebecca laughed, wiping her tears. That man spoils her. Can't blame him, Cole said with a grin. She's pretty amazing. Must get it from her mother. They walked inside together, hand in hand. Marcus was indeed in the kitchen, scooping ice cream while Lily told him an elaborate story about her day at her new school. He looked up when Rebecca and Cole entered, saw their joined hands and smiled. About time, he said. Marcus, Rebecca protested, blushing. Someone had to push you two together, Marcus said, handing Lily her bowl. I figured saving your lives was a good start. As they sat around the table, Rebecca, Lily, Cole, and Marcus, laughing and sharing stories, Rebecca felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. This wasn't the life she'd planned. It was better. Because it was real, messy, hard one, and filled with people who'd proven they'd die for each other. The final twist. Later that night, after Lily was in bed and Marcus had gone home, Rebecca and Cole sat on the porch swing watching the stars. Can I ask you something? Rebecca said. Anything. That night when you found me in my kitchen with the bat, you said you'd been watching my house for 2 weeks. But the official file says you only got assigned to Derek's case 3 days before. Cole went very still. You read the case file? Marcus showed it to me, Rebecca said quietly. So I'm asking you, Cole Thornton, why were you really watching my house? Cole was silent for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was rough. Because 3 years ago, when I lost Sarah, I made myself a promise. I'd never let another innocent woman get hurt by someone else's crimes. So I track cases like Derek's even when they're not officially mine. I look for the families, the wives, the children who don't know they're in danger yet. You've been protecting strangers for 3 years? Rebecca asked, stunned. Not strangers, Cole corrected. People who deserve better. People like you. Rebecca took his hand. You can't save everyone, Cole. I know, he said quietly. But I saved you. And that's enough. They sat in comfortable silence, the night wrapping around them like a blanket. Neither of them noticed the car parked down the street, engine off, lights dark. Neither of them saw the figure inside, watching through binoculars. Neither of them heard the phone call. The target is secure in Montana, living with her daughter and 2 protectors. awaiting further orders. The voice on the other end laughed. Let them have their happy ending. For now, the Morettas may be finished, but there are other families, other debts. Derek Morgan's information may have been fiction, but his wife knows where the real evidence is hidden. She just doesn't know it yet. The line went dead. The watcher settled in, patient and invisible. Rebecca Morgan thought she was safe. She thought the nightmare was over. She had no idea it was just beginning. But that's a story for another time.